Welcome to the collision of faith, politics, and culture. My name is Jared, and you are watching Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Sanity. Today, we're going to dive into the differences between GameStop and silver and why you should invest in one of the two. What's up, guys? I feel like it's been a while since I did a video from my studio. I also feel like it's been a while since I didn't wear a hat. So for those of you who may not have known if I had hair, I actually do for now. Unless you've been under a rock, GameStop has been in the news. And if you may know what's going on. If not, I want to give a really brief overview. It's a flawed example on what a short is, but it's a very, I guess, a concise way to think about it. Selling a naked short or a short, naked short is what they've done. It's supposed to be illegal, but they found ways to do it in Wall Street. They find a lot of ways to do things that are illegal. Naked short is me selling my neighbor's house, right? If I got in a contract with you agreeing to sell my neighbor's house for $100,000, even though I didn't own it, I say, I will sell you my neighbor's house for $100,000. Because I believe the price will go down between here and the end of the contract, let's say next week. So if I think that house is going to be worth less than $100,000 next week, I can agree to sell it to you for $100,000. When it gets to the end of the contract next week, let's say it's worth $80,000. Well, you've agreed to buy it for $100,000 and I can buy it for $80,000, so I can make the difference, that $20,000. However, what if it's gone up in value? It's gone the opposite of what I thought it would do. Let's say it's worth $120,000. Well, now you obviously want to take advantage. You say, yeah, I want to buy that $100,000 house. Like, you've already set the contract. So you stand to gain. So I am on the hook for that extra $20,000, right? But what if I go to my neighbor to say, hey, I want to buy your house since it's worth $120,000. And he says, no, I don't want to sell it. And I go, well, I've already set a contract that I would sell your house for $100,000. And he goes, I want $500,000 for it. I'm in big trouble, right? And that's what the banks found themselves in with GameStop. It's a short squeeze, right? There is not enough. They had gotten into a contract to sell shares that they didn't technically own. And so when they went into the market to buy it back, a bunch of really, you can call them smart, you can call them crazy, Reddit, Wall Street bets guys decided to hold on to their shares and not let them sell. So it jumped from $2 to, I think at the high was close to $450. Really cool to watch. If I said cool, not if you're a hedge fund, right? But these guys made some very risky bets and it didn't pan out. And the little guy for a little bit felt like he was winning. And then Robinhood cut him off from trading. He lost a lot of money. I think it's down to like $90, right? So a lot of people got messed up. A lot of people are mad at Robinhood. But through that, there came this thing called the silver squeeze, right? And you may have heard of it. You may not have. I've been, little background. I've been investing in silver for about 10 years and bought it on the average of probably once a month or more for the past 10 years. So I've been very invested in silver. I haven't come to this game just now. And I've researched it very extensively for 10 years. And by the way, the guy who first got me into it, a book by the name of a guy named Mike Maloney. And I'll actually put a link to his videos. He has a set of videos called Hidden Secrets of Money. Honestly, the best education you can have on money and on precious metals, but really the history of money. That's why it's called Hidden Secrets of Money. And honestly, if you only have time to watch one video, turn this video off right now. Go watch his video. It's mind-blowing, and it is truly if you're interested in it, which I think you should be, because money affects every aspect of our lives, whether we like to think so or not. Getting educated on money is I think a huge thing, and something I think our school system doesn't do, and I think it doesn't do it on purpose. But before I get into the silver short squeeze, I want to make a quick case for silver, right? The silver, why do I think it's worth more than $26.64, right? The reason being, if you look at history, I think there's a quote by, I forgot the guy's name, or I forgot who said it, that says, the further you look into the past, the farther you can see into the future. Historically, things tend to go to their historical trends, right? Their norms. Things revert to the norm. Look back at 500 BC, Romans, right? The legionnaires, they were making 225 denariuses a year, which is it started off as a tenth of an ounce of silver and then actually got inflated out so that it was worth less. but they made 225 denarii or 22.5 ounces a year of silver. And that's what you paid a skilled soldier. And if, let's say we make that $40,000 a year in today's terms, you end up with $1,777 silver. That, if that were the case today, if we paid our soldiers the same as the Romans paid theirs, skip through 1,000 years, which is funny. You can, flip the pages 1,000 years to Sun Tzu, The Art of War. If you haven't read that, another great one I would suggest reading. He has a quote that 100,000 man army for all their supplies, all the soldiers and everything cost 1,000 ounces of silver a day, which would be equivalent of 1/100th of an ounce per day per soldier, which, using that same math of $40,000 a year per soldier, it comes out to about $16,000 silver. Like I said, these are, just using historicals. Things change. I get that. But jumping closer, I guess, into our, modern day, you look at 1964, right? In 1964, we were still in the silver standard. And gold standard. We still had, silver in our coins. Our coins were 90% silver, right? So if you find a pre-64 quarter, it is now worth over $5 in silver, or around $5. So if you take 25 cents in 1964, which is now worth $5, 20 times that in 57 years, you end up with a, give or take, this is back of the napkin math. This is, don't hold me to this, approximately a 35% gain per year, right? It's 20x in 57 years. So we've seen significant inflation when it comes to that. So I personally would argue that silver is way undervalued right now. In addition to all those three kind of case studies, if you look at historically over the past 5,000 years of recorded history, the ratio of gold to silver ratio, the GSR, you'll see it. The gold silver ratio historically has been around 15-1. That's what most currencies that a bimetal currency comes out with, is 15-1. I think Jefferson, maybe, I don't know. There's somebody who, anyways, 15-1. So even if you use what I believe is suppressed gold price of around $1,850, where it is currently, if you use that 15-1, you still end up with $120 silver, which is what, 5x what it is right now. So I think the case for silver is huge. In addition to that, silver has been suppressed, right? Okay, so you have the monetary aspects of silver, but you also have industrial aspects of silver, and these are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Silver is in everything electronic. Your cell phone has got, I think, about 1/10 of an ounce of silver in it. Your car has silver in it. If you get an electric car, it has like 4 to 5 times what anything like a combustion engine has. Solar panels have tons of silver in it. Silver is the most conductive metal on the face of the planet. And uses for it are constantly, for its antibacterial, antimicrobial properties are expanding. So the case for silver as an industry is huge. And as a monetary, I think it's getting there, guys. Like I said, I've been thinking it's right around the corner for the past 10 years, and I've been wrong, but we may be on the cusp. And I want you guys to protect yourself. Obviously, I don't make money if you go buy silver. That I don't sell silver. If we all start buying it, obviously it would help my investments go up. So I'd be glad about that. Go for that. Make my wife really happy after being on the wrong end for 10 years. So the industrial demand for silver is about 700 million ounces a year. We only create or dig out of the ground about 1 billion ounces a year of silver. 700 million of that already go to electronics. It already does that. So that leaves about 300 million for investors, for growing industries, right? And silver is getting harder and harder to find. It's not getting easier. We have to go deeper. I've listened to multiple CEOs of mining companies. Anyway, so I personally see the downside of silver very small. And one of the main reasons, besides all the ones I just mentioned, is the current system we have. Go back to that short that I talked about, the shorting of selling something you don't have. So the banks and others have done this with silver to a huge extreme. They have sold futures contracts on silver saying, hey, we'll deliver 1,000 ounces, trusting that you're not going to actually ask for delivery of that silver. So most people, when they buy a futures contract, they're just betting on the price. So if they buy a futures contract and the price goes up, they'll take the difference in cash. They won't actually ask for the bar, right? So the banks have gotten really greedy and they've started doing this. And so they've leveraged themselves about 100 to 1, at least. I've seen numbers up higher to 300 to 1. So between 100 to 300 paper ounces or paper contracts for actual silver exist than the actual silver in the markets that is available for delivery. So translate that, if 1 to a third of a percentage, if 1% of the people in the market for silver that have contracts decide to take delivery for it, the banks are going to be in big trouble. And that's what this, it was attributed to the Reddit crowd, but I've been on Reddit for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and they've been bashing this SLV short idea. So I did see a few posts about SLV, and I think an SLV, for those who don't know, is an electronically traded fund that represents an ounce, supposedly represents an ounce of silver. It doesn't actually, but it supposedly does. So anyways, I don't think it was the Reddit crowd. I think it was somebody else. I don't know if it was a hedge fund. I don't know if it was, honestly, like international, somebody like Russia or China, as much as everybody throws the boogeyman on, Russia or China, but Russia or China have both been outspoken in how much they believe the US dollar is overvalued, and they've also been buying gold. I don't know about silver on their acquisitions of that, but they've been buying gold hand over fist. So it could be, it's somebody, but someone is buying a lot of futures contract and a lot of interest in silver, a lot of the SLV. And so at least the theory behind shorting or short squeezing SLV was that there's a lot of people with shorts on it. They were going to buy up the SLV and force a short squeeze on the paper markets. The problem with that, and if you paid any attention to silver price today, it dropped hardcore, I think 8 or 10%, between 8 and 9% today. So the problem with betting against people who can pretty much print unlimited contracts is they can crash the market by selling a ton of paper promises, and the price goes way down. So if you have any interest in investing in silver, please, 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 please do not get into SLV. Like, go buy physical metal. It is leveraged to the umpteenth degree on what is actually out there. If there's only 300 million ounces available for the whole world out of the industrial thing, 300 million. That means if every person in the US bought 1 single ounce, the world would be out of silver. And that would be India, China, that's everybody in the world. So we are, in a position as United States citizens that are, we can buy an ounce of silver for what it, costs to, buy a decent dinner kind of thing. So if you have a chance to buy some physical silver, JM Bullion, M as in Mary, jmbullion.com is where I get most of mine. They're not paying me to say it. They don't know I exist. Well, they may, because I've bought a lot of silver from them, but JM Bullion, SD Bullion, AppMex, there's a few others. But anyways, I would buy some silver, and support your local coin shop as well. If you go down to your coin shop, right now, premiums are really high. I think I bought some yesterday, and it was a $5 premium per coin, and they only had 10 ounces left. It is a very high demand right now. And some would say, well, back off, let it cool down. I don't know, guys. I don't know if it's going to cool down. I think people are waking up to how, I think GameStop helped, because it kind of showed people that the little guy can make a big difference if he finds a market where there's a bunch of fraud, right? And when you short 144% of the stocks, which isn't supposed to be legal, like they did with GameStop, a lot of people pay the price. Silver, if this thing goes, I'm not going to put a dollar amount, but I think $1,000 silver is definitely a possibility. And with that being said, anyways, and more than anything, it's protection of your purchasing power, right? Fiat currency, we all know, if you don't know what fiat currency is, we became a fiat currency in 1971, which is when we came off the gold and silver standard, the gold standard, more accurately. And so this is the first time in world history that every government in the world has been a fiat currency or has used a fiat currency. So no currency in the world is currently tied to gold. I think it's It's an experiment. It has never been tried. The average lifespan, there's been thousands of fiat currencies. The average lifespan is 50 years. We're at 1971, or the average lifespan is about 40 to 45. We're at 50. So we're on borrowed time right now. You have major nations like Russia and China saying it's time for dollar hegemony to be gone. So anyways, guys, my take on silver, I think honestly right now, I would, if I didn't have any, I'd be searching wherever I need to go to find some. I think I could be wrong. Don't put anything in it that you're going to call me and, you know, complain that you lose money on it. Trust me, I've been losing money for 10 years. Maybe I'll be right one day. But I think it's coming. And so take it for what it's worth. Love you guys. We'd love to hear comments. Are you into silver? Are you into GameStop? Did you make money on GameStop? Yeah, thanks guys. Hope you have a fantastic day.